So to begin, we would like to present an award to the movie itself. And if you could find right there, that top one. Right. And you could see that one. Vaxxed, from cover-up to catastrophe. Director Andrew Wakefield, producers Del Bigtree and Polly Tommey. Awarded for the film's ability to bring to the public the untold truth about the lack of scientific integrity at the CDC regarding vaccines. I for the film's remarkable interviews with pharmaceutical insiders, doctors, politicians, and parents of vaccine-injured children that reveal deception that has contributed to the skyrocketing increase of autism and potentially the most catastrophic epidemic of our lifetime.
Andrew Wakefield, MBBS, is an academic gastroenterologist. He received his medical degree from St. Mary's Hospital Medical School, London, in 1981. He qualified as Fellow of the Royal College of Surgeons in 1985 and trained as a gastroenterologist surgeon at the Royal College of Surgeons in 1985. He trained as a gastroenterologist surgeon with particular interest in inflammatory bowel disease. He was awarded a Wellcome Trust traveling fellowship to study small intestinal transplantation in Toronto. He was made a Fellow of the Royal College of Pathologists in the UK in 2001, and Wakefield has published over 140 original scientific papers, reviews, and book chapters. And I just want to say this, I've known or had the pleasure to know Andrew Wakefield. We both live in Austin, Texas. And I said to him once, I said, you know, Andy, you are my hero, and you are my inspiration. I, as a practitioner, I said, I don't know how you do it. I don't know how you have withstood the character maligning and the things that the public has done. And he said to me, as long as there is a risk of one more child being injured, I will never stop. And I just love him so much. Dr. Andrew Wakefield, for his attentive, succinct delivery of a movie that clearly tells the complex story of how this terrible assault on freedom could have happened, and indeed did happen in this great and prosperous country of ours. I want to award you with that plaque and this gift.
Thank you very much.
Okay, now we're going to go on to Del. Producer Del Bigtree was an Emmy Award-winning producer on the daytime talk show The Doctors for 6 years. With a background both as a filmmaker and an investigative medical journalist, he is best known for combining visually impactful imagery, raw emotional interviews, and unbiased investigative research into stories that push the envelope of daytime television. Some of his most thought-provoking episodes include a rare televised debate between Monsanto's head of toxicology, Dr. Donna Farmer, and GMO activist Jeffrey Smith, and an expose on a gold standard medical test that mistakenly indicts loving parents for child abuse, causing their children to be remanded to Child Protective Services. Del Bigtree, we want to give you this award for being a truth seeker and a truth teller, for being open to hearing facts that could turn conventional perspectives upside down, and for his courage to delve into what he learned and bring that information to all those who can hear with a personal and professional cost that will forever change his life and hopefully will bless his life.
2016 Health Freedom Awards banquet. Thank you for that wonderful prayer, Bruce. That was just heavenly. Thank you. We won't be sheeple. We'll just be sheep. 15 years ago or so, or 12 or whatever, we wrote down our vision for a Health Freedom Congress. And each year it deepens in our understanding of the Congress. It's like each year we learn how to do it. Like, 10 years ago we were kind of scrambling and there were state safe harbor groups, and it has morphed in so many ways. And each year I think, what are we going to do next year? Because this is so awesome. We don't have anything we can do better next year. But I think that the relationships are deepening, and I'm really glad for that. What we wrote down when we started this was, we wanted to bring together key organizations and leaders in the United States health freedom movement. We wanted to experience an egalitarian gathering of autonomous and diverse leaders, where leaders communicate face-to-face in a large, round, Congress-style format. We wanted to increase collaboration and inspire each other to unity and solidarity. To identify top health freedom issues and topics that are impacting health freedom. To find areas of common ground and pass resolutions. To work together to identify strategies for enhanced health freedom, and to celebrate the health freedom movement and give awards honoring successful leaders. Tonight we're extremely delighted to have wonderful leaders giving awards to them, and we hope that you enjoy and honor them with us, and we're glad that you're all here. And where are you, Theo? I'm glad you're here too. My grandson is honoring us with his presence tonight. So with that, I'm going to have Jerry Johnson come up and honor our sponsors for this occasion.
Good evening, everybody. And once again, we want to make sure that we honor and thank our generous sponsors, because without our sponsors, this would not be possible at all for us to have this wonderful gathering. So some of our sponsors are actually here with us. And so I'm going to actually list all of our sponsors. And if you are here personally, I would like you to stand up and be recognized, and why don't you hold your applause until we're done with everybody, but please stay standing until we've done the whole list. So, we thank our generous sponsors. Our gold sponsor is Sunshine Health Freedom Foundation, and Karen Steen Finch is here representing. Karen, why don't you stay standing, and then again, why don't you folks hold your applause. Tell me that.
Once again, hold it once again. Just
Once again, hold your applause. You can applaud if you want. Okay, our Health Freedom Lunch sponsor is Trinity School of Natural Health, and Julie Klein was here for most of the weekend and had to leave this afternoon. Promoting sponsor is Spring Forest Qigong. Supporting sponsors include AgriDynamics, Voice for Choice, and Christina Hildebrand is here. The International and American Association of Clinical Nutritionists, and Radia Gleese is here. Mercola.com, Mountain Rose Herbs, Natural Awakenings, National Vaccine Information Center, and Teresa Rangel is the Executive Director.
right here.
Teresa. Okay. Organic Consumers Association, and Rose Welch and Ronnie Cummins, if you both stand up. Paul Krause Creative. Paul is here videotaping. We're all going to enjoy his handiwork. The Robert Scott Bell Show, and Robert is taping people as we speak. And he wanted me to be sure to mention that the company that sponsors him to come here is Sovereign Silver. So if you've looked in your goodie bags yet, you actually are getting nice samples from the Sovereign Silver Company. Sage Mountain Retreat Center and Botanical Sanctuary, The Edge Magazine, Washington Homeopathic Products. And then our associate sponsors include electromagnetichealth.org and Camilla Reese, stand up, if you will. GW Health, Life Extension Foundation, and Iowa Holistic Dentistry. Congress Boosters, Way Better Snacks, they're the ones that have the chips in our bags. Isotonics, Market America, and Stacy Pinsky. And Northwestern Academy of Homeopathy and Deborah Sachs Annis. Our Congress Boosters.
Roseanne Lindsay is going to be presenting the first award to Tenia Creamer. And Tenia could not be with us from West Virginia. She's taking care of her horses. So Roseanne, where are you?
Right here.
Oh, there you go. There we go. You go. Yes, 30-second video.
Well, I'm honored to present this award because, like Tina, I think her name's pronounced Tina actually, I've been a raw milk activist for a long time. I raised my kids on raw milk and I still drink raw goat's milk, so I know how hard it is to maintain the ability to access whole traditional foods, including raw milk, which is a whole live food. People can survive on raw milk and nothing else. And that's why it's become such a challenge to maintain that right to access it. So this award is for the passage of a raw milk herd share bill in West Virginia, and it's for Tina Creamer. With a name like that, how can you go wrong? She sends her regrets, like Diane said, because farm obligations involving a herd of dairy goats and a few Jersey cows. She calls herself a farm her at Lucas Farm. She's a Weston A. Price chapter leader and a hobby photographer. I'm sure she has a lot of willing subjects. A little history on her efforts. From 2010 to 2011, Tina focused on raw milk awareness through emails, blogs, handouts. We know the score, media, conferences, booths at fairs, and through the state, all through the state of West Virginia. In 2012, she organized her first meeting, of which 4 people attended, including her. 2013, she saw more media, Facebook, radio, political meeting, started to engage sponsors for raw milk sales and herd share bills. Then there was a meeting between farmers and consumers to write a bill based on Tennessee legislation. And in 2014, a newsletter was created, more social media campaigning, farmers attending lobby events, more blogs, radio, progress reports to Weston A. Price, and Natural News. Discussions with Farm to Consumer Legal Defense Fund. Then 2 bills, the raw milk sales bill and the raw milk herd share bill. Both sponsored in the House, they never made it to the House floor. 2015, the Senate introduces the SB 30, the raw milk legislation sales bill. And the House introduces both a herd share and a sales bill. More radio, news coverage, action alerts, contact with Weston A. Price. Sales bill becomes a herd share bill. It passes the Senate Ag and Health Committees, and then passes the Senate floor by a small margin, passes the House floor by a large margin, 81 to 19, wow. And is then vetoed by Governor Tomlin. The session ends with no chance for override. 2016. Raw milk herd share and raw milk sales bills introduced in both House and Senate. SB 387 moves through the Senate quickly and passes with a large majority. The House adopts the Senate bill language in the House Health Committee. SB 387, the raw milk herd share bill, passes House by a landslide, 88 to 11. On March 3rd, 2016, Governor Tomlin signs 387 into law. award goes to Tina Kramer, the cream of the crop in West Virginia. And here to accept her award is Judith McGarry of Farm and Ranch Freedom Alliance.
So I think, what I think of every time I hear the West Virginia saga is that what a saga it was, and what it teaches us about how long it can take to make change and not giving up along the way. I can't even imagine being in her shoes when the governor vetoed that bill. I mean, and sadly though, I think all of us have probably been at some point in one of these fights in a situation where we did know exactly what that felt like in our own way. And it's just amazing that she and the people that she had rallied together picked themselves up and made it happen the next year. So may we all have some success.
Started at the beginning.
Hello, Minnesota. I'm Tania Kramer here at Lucas Farm in West Virginia. I really appreciate being one of the recipients of the U.S. Health Freedom Congress Awards this year. I really wish I could have attended, but full-time homestead dairy operation keeps me tied down. I worked 7 long years to see herd shares legalized in West Virginia. The battle is not completely over yet, but it's a great start. The movement has a lot of momentum. I really wish I could have attended, and again, I really appreciate it.
There we have it. The next award is to Becky and John Hanks in Virginia. And Ann Tanner, our staff attorney, is going to give this award and talk about it. It's when we do safe harbors, sometimes we do large safe harbors for all of Healing, but they haven't passed one there, but they did a limited safe harbor successfully, the two of them. So, Ann?
Okay, that's fine. So as Diane mentioned, this next award is going to John and Becky Hanks of Virginians for Health Freedom. Becky is a master herbalist and a CNHP, a certified natural health practitioner. She also has a doctorate in naturopathic ministries. In 2006, Becky founded the Virginia chapter of the Certified Natural Health Practitioners, and she currently serves as the legislative coordinator for Virginians for Health Freedom. John, her husband, has been active with certified natural health professionals and Virginians for Health Freedom for over 10 years, and has served the last 4 years as their registered lobbyist. John and Becky, along with Joseph Hanks, they own and operate a natural health store in Prince, Virginia. So this award is going to them for their outstanding leadership and success protecting the right of healers, body workers, and practitioners who were put in jeopardy by the introduction of a restrictive massage licensing bill this last session in Virginia. They introduced a proactive amendment to the massage bill, and it led to the successful passage into law of protection for the practices of healers and body workers in Virginia. And although unfortunately they are not here to accept the award this evening, I just want to say a little bit about them because I have had the privilege to meet them. And as Diane mentioned, although Virginia doesn't yet have a full safe harbor law that has been passed as in 10 other states, this language that the one sentence language that they got passed does share the same concept that all safe harbors share, that the government should not have the power to regulate and citizens should not give up the power to the government to regulate modalities or practices that don't pose a threat of harm to the consumer. So this one sentence amendment to this restrictive licensing law reads as follows. I just added it one sentence to the exemption list to say that any individual who practices stroking of the hands, feet, or ears, or the use of touch, words, or directed movement, including healing touch, therapeutic touch, mind-body centering, orthobionomy, Traeger therapy, reflexology, polarity therapy, Reiki, Qigong, muscle activation techniques, or practices with the primary purpose of affecting energy systems of the human body. All those individuals are exempt from the requirement to get a massage license in law and can't be shut down for practicing massage without a license. So the success of them getting that one sentence in was due to their long-standing relationship with the legislators. This bill was moving fast. They didn't have the power and the numbers to stop the bill completely, but they've been active at their legislature for so many years that they did have the connections that it was within a matter of a week where they called our office and said, can you help us with language? And the following week we were hearing from them that the language had been adopted and was marshalling through to the final vote with their one sentence in it. So thank you so much to them and for their work and for their dedication to being citizen lobbyists. And yeah, go health freedom.
And I did talk to Becky and John, and the reason that they decided not to come this year, because they love being with this community, is because there's a vaccine study bill there, and they want to be at the hearing tomorrow. I believe it's tomorrow, and they didn't want to risk not being there. So dedicated. And they're very excited about meeting the vaccine community, which they hadn't been working for, and they run Virginians for Health Freedom, so it was cool that they're merging now with all the leaders. The next award, we have a great honor to have the awardee here, Michelle Ford, and Jerry Johnson's going to give that award.
Last year about this time, I heard about a very exciting project. There's going to be a gathering in Atlanta of people from all over the country. Atlanta is where the CDC is located. And the goal was to create a voice right in that community and in the whole world, letting them know about the fraudulent studies that had been conducted by the CDC on vaccine safety. I had the privilege of attending that rally, and it was called the CDC Truth and Transparency Rally, and it was a fabulous event. Lots of people were there. Started off with lining the street right next to the CDC itself, and then later gathering in a park for speakers. There were lots of great speakers, including Robert F. Kennedy Jr. and Barbara Loe Fisher from NVIC, and Marcella Piper Terry, Ronnie Cummins from OCA, Tony Bark, Alan Phillips, and the Honorable Tony Muhammad of the Nation of Islam. The idea for the rally was envisioned and carried out by Michelle Ford. And Michelle's a mother of 5 children from California. So it was an event that has helped to create a lot of attention around this issue. So Michelle has been also instrumental in mobilizing the African American community on this issue, given the research uncovered which showed that African American boys in particular are more vulnerable to injury from the MMR vaccine. So we're so pleased to give Michelle Ford a Health Freedom Award for her work to create the Truth, Transparency, and Freedom rallies at the CDC, and for launching of the Vaccine Injury Awareness League to bring awareness of vaccine injuries and to ignite compassion, understanding, and respect in the area of vaccine injuries. Michelle Ford.
Wow, this is really pretty. So, first of all, I need to say thank you because it's such an honor to get any kind of a recognition when, you know, like all of you, I'm just doing what I'm passionate about, and I'm a new activist, like I'm new at this. So to have had any kind of interest in the rally has been a huge honor for me, and the fact that some of the people in this community even knew that the rally was going on is also an honor. And I would love to share with you, I started VIAL because when I remarried, and my new husband and I were considering having children, there was information out there. Unlike 1993 when my first child was born. So there was information readily available online. And what tugged the most at my heartstrings were the vaccine injury stories that I was able to find. And that I started my research in 2004. And at that time, even the CDC still had information on their website that really spoke to the true numbers of vaccine injuries. It didn't say 1 in a million back in 2004 when I first started my research. And I was blown away that death was right there, online, hidden in plain sight. So I decided to start VIAL because I feel like I owe the health of my 3 youngest children to the parents that came before me that dared to tell the truth. And the general population doesn't really know what vaccine injury looks like. But every kid that has some kind of a diagnosis, in my heart, I know it's because they got harmed by their vaccines. Or they got poisoned before they got their vaccines because of the food and the stuff that's coming down from the sky. So I wanted to just share, if I may, can I go ahead and do the video? Awesome. I wanted to share and also thank Barry Siegel with Focus for Health for helping to fund the PSAs that VIAL is making. Oh, sorry. Barry helped to fund the PSAs that I'm creating to bring commercials, if you will, about vaccinations to mainstream television. Because, we've all seen those ads on TV for pharmaceutical drugs, and they list all of the side effects. I mean, we kind of laugh about it because there's so many side effects. It's like, listen to all these side effects. It's ridiculous. But what we don't hear ever are childhood vaccine commercials where parents actually get to hear the side effects, the ones that are listed on the product inserts. So I felt the desire to make these commercials readily available on mainstream television and social media so that parents could see them for the first time. And then at least, even if it just creates a spark of interest, like, wow, I didn't know that there could be side effects from these vaccines. If it just gives them that tiny little impetus to start doing their research. Because I don't know about you, but I thought they were all safe. That there was nothing that could possibly go wrong, ever. It was the one thing I could trust as much as I could trust that the sun was coming up tomorrow. So, let's do this one. Yeah, so this one is the Vaccine Injury Compensation Program, PSA. It's not quite ready to be on mainstream television, but it's very, very close. So have a look.
Have you or your child had a vaccine in the last 36 months? Do you or your child suffer any of the following? Because vaccine makers are not liable for the injuries their products cause, you or your family member may be eligible for compensation under the National Childhood Vaccine Injury Act of 1986. This act has paid out over $3.5 billion in injury claims to people suffering from
the hepatitis B vaccine is given within 12 hours of birth. And it's one of those vaccines where there's, the doctors won't tell you, oh, it's going to happen. You just have to know that you don't want it for your child. Okay, so here we go. This one's the longest one.
Life starts moving fast. faster than you think, and you would do anything to keep your baby safe and healthy. The first medical decision you'll have to make as a parent is about vaccinations, and the first vaccine all newborns receive is for hepatitis B. According to the CDC, it protects children from a potentially serious disease that can lead to cirrhosis. The hepatitis B virus can be acquired through unprotected sex by sharing needles, razors, or toothbrushes with an infected person, or by using unsterilized tools for tattooing and body piercings. But the vaccine can have some serious side effects. That's why it's important for you to stop everything.
And it stops.
Take a moment to talk to your doctor about the risks of the hepatitis B vaccine. Clinical trials have shown a series of adverse reactions to the vaccine. Reported reactions in newborns include irritability, fever, diarrhea, fatigue, diminished appetite, and stuffy nose. Trials have also shown other adverse reactions. These include pharyngitis, upper respiratory infection, sweating, achiness, chills, flushing, vomiting, abdominal pains, indigestion, vertigo and dizziness, tingling, rashes, swelling, hives, back, neck, and shoulder pain, multiple sclerosis, transverse myelitis, rheumatoid arthritis, swollen lymph nodes, hypotension, insomnia or disturbed sleep, earache, and painful urination, just to name a few. The CDC recommends all newborns be vaccinated against hepatitis B before leaving the hospital. 3 doses of the hepatitis B vaccine are recommended within the first 6 months of life.
Vaccines are a serious matter. Because every child is different, take the time to independently educate yourself about the benefits and risks of vaccination. Be aware. Be informed. Make the right choice for your child.
Thank you so much for this award. It means the world to me, and I'm looking forward to working with the Congress ongoingly. And we are going to continue to make vaccine PSAs for all of the vaccines on the childhood schedule. So thank you so much.
The next award and the final award and our keynote speaker tonight is Ronnie Cummins. And so I am going to tell you a little bit about him. But I want to say that for a number of years, because I'm old, I was in the co-op system in the 60s and 70s, his name was always floating around. And I finally got to meet him, and one of the things that I can say when I met him was he is the writer for the health freedom movement. I mean, he tells it like it is. I tell people, yeah, Ronnie Cummins, he tells it like it is. He doesn't mince words. When he's a planner, I could tell him in the group today, it's like, okay, we're gonna do that. And he's just a doer, pragmatic, gentle, kind, clear, wonderful man. I'm delighted that you're here today. Ronnie Cummins has been active as a writer and an activist since the 1960s, with extensive experience in public education, grassroots mobilization, and marketplace pressure campaigns. Over the past 2 decades, he has served as the director of the U.S. and international campaigns dealing with sustainable agriculture. Issues including food safety, genetic engineering, factory farming, and now global warming. From 1992 to 98, Ronnie served as a campaign director for the Foundation on Economic Trends in Washington, D.C. In 1998, Cummins co-founded the Organic Consumers Association, the largest network of organic consumers in the United States. In 2009, Ronnie Cummins founded Via Organica, a network of organic consumers and farmers based in Mexico City and San Miguel de Allende, Guanajuato. Cummins is a frequent lecturer both in the U.S. and abroad, as well as a regular contributor to the online publication such as Organic Bites, Common Dreams, Truth Out, Huffington Post, and Nation of Change. Cummins has published hundreds of articles in the alternative and mainstream press. He is also the author of a series of children's books called Children of the World, which I have to go get because I have never read them, as well as the book Genetically Engineered Food, a Self-Defense Guide for Consumers. Yeah, we all need that one. Second revised edition, Marlowe and Company. Ronnie lives with his wife, who we are delighted is here tonight, Rose Welsh, an 18-year-old son in Minneapolis, Minnesota. He is being awarded for his over 50 years of work to bring the conversation surrounding food quality into the consciousness of all consumers, and for teaching the necessity of freedom as part of food quality and preserving the earth and its species. And for his courage and leadership, being one of the 10 steering committee members of the International Monsanto Tribunal, a citizen tribunal taking place in The Hague, Netherlands, October 15th through 16th this year, investigating Monsanto for potential violations and crimes against humanity and the Earth's ecosystem. We are delighted and honored to have you here with us, Ronnie. So come and take your award and